Finally, we are here, graphing polynomial functions. Let's put all of these bits together. This is often one question on your final exam, worth a lot of marks. I think you should be able to answer questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Why don't you do so? How did you do with these? You found that the degree is even. It has a positive leading coefficient. That means that both ends are rising on the left and the right. You have to tell me what both sides are doing. The maximum number of turning points, one less than the degree, is 7. The y-intercept, remember to find the y-intercept, you're letting x equal 0. If you let x equal 0, then this whole thing will equal 0. So let's fill in this table. We have our real zeros. What are they? Well, for this x, it is 0. It has a multiplicity of 3, which is odd. When we have an odd multiplicity, we know that we are crossing the x-axis. We have a multiplicity of, a real zero of -2. It has a multiplicity of 1, which is also odd and therefore crossing at the x-axis. We have a real zero of 1/2. It has a multiplicity of 4, which is even. And so the graph is touching the x-axis. Let's put this information onto our graph. A real zero at 0. And I like to mark that it's crossing so I don't forget. A real zero at -2. And it's crossing. A real zero at 1/2. And it's touching. Now remember what we said about the end behaviors. They're both rising and we use the outside. So we're using the outside and they're both rising. Now we just do what the rest of it says. At -2, it says we're crossing. At 0, it says we're crossing. And then at 1/2, we're touching and going back up. It worked. Is this exactly what the graph will look like? Probably not, because we haven't learned about maximums and minimums, and you will do that in your calculus course. For example, this could have gone much further down, and this one could have been much shallower. That's a possibility. Or it could have been much shallower here, and then really steep there. I don't care. I'm looking for close enough. So as long as you have your end behaviors in the right place, you're crossing and touching in the right places, this looks great. Now, what are the intervals on which the h of x is greater than 0? Greater than 0, greater than 0, greater than 0. Where on the x-axis is that happening? From -2 to 0, and then 0 to 1/2, and then 1/2 to infinity. Where is the function greater than or equal to 0? Uh-oh, I see I made a mistake there. Not from -2 to 0. You guys didn't stop me. Let's fix that. That was over here. There we go. From -infinity to -2. And from 0 to 1/2. And from 1/2 to infinity. Greater than or equal to 0? negative infinity to -2 included, and then 0 all the way to positive infinity. I don't need to stop at a half because it is equal to 0 there. Less than 0? Well, that's from -2 to 0. That's it. Less than or equal to 0? -2 to 0. And at that point, 1/2. Don't forget about that one. We'll do more practice in the next lesson.